Greetings, North Wilkesboro community members. Town Manager Wilson Hooper here, broadcasting from Town Hall in beautiful downtown North Wilkesboro. Today we're debuting what I hope will be a long-standing new tool for communicating info to residents and visitors, the Keynote Podcast. For those who may be new to the area, that title's a little play on words from the nickname for our town, the Key City. Others call North Wilkesboro the Key to the Blue Ridge, so the Keynote seemed like an appropriate name. But you're probably wondering more about why we're doing this than you are about what we're calling it. Here's why. Community members deserve to be informed about what's going on. So we want to open a window so that folks can see what's going on in our house, Town Hall, and we want to do it in a way that's accessible and easy to understand. That's why we chose the podcast format, because it's short, intimate, and listeners can listen on their own schedule. It's also why we'll be sharing information a little differently than government usually does. You know, if you've ever called for help from a government office or attended a Board of Commissioners meeting, you know that local government staff are sometimes hard to understand. The language we use at work isn't always clear to those who aren't in our profession. It's an unfortunate but unavoidable part of our work because the technical requirements of our jobs sometimes require us to use technical language. But if we're to be good stewards of the public trust, I think we need to share things in a way that doesn't scream bureaucracy. So that's what we hope to accomplish with this podcast. Here we're going to share stories, answer questions from the general public, talk about things authentically, and maybe, just maybe, have a little fun. With that said, before we get started, I just want to make one more comment on the production of this podcast. Please remember, we're amateurs here. We're using simple microphones and editing software we downloaded from the internet. The sound quality and production won't be perfect. In fact, I can hear some ambient noise now. But we hope to get better at it as we go along. Alright, so for our first episode, we're going to hear from a person who plays one of the most important staff roles here at the town of North Wilkesboro, our Director of Tourism and Marketing, Crystal Keener. Crystal wears a couple different hats, actually. She's the Director of Tourism and Marketing, as I said, but she's also the manager of the Downtown North Wilkesboro Partnership. Welcome to the Keynote Podcast, Crystal.
Thanks, Wilson. I'm excited to join you for the first podcast officially here at town.
All right. Please tell us a little bit more about what you do for the town.
Sure. For starters, plan and promote events throughout the year, like our monthly concert series, quarterly downtown art walks, block parties, light up downtown, and other holiday events around Christmas. I also help local civic clubs and nonprofit groups that use town venues like the Marketplace and Smoot Park promote and plan their events as well. In addition, I manage the town's print, radio, and TV advertising, maintain the town website, and admin several social media sites as well.
Why is what you do so important for the town?
Well, it's important to tell our story to residents and visitors alike, and we try and do that through many mediums, whether you're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you're listening to this podcast, or you get your info from the local newspaper or radio station. We're going to try to reach you where you are. It's vital to communicate what the town is doing to positively impact and improve the lives of our residents.
What can community members do to help you accomplish your goals?
Well, they can spread the word to their neighbors, friends, and family about all the great opportunities for entertainment in Wilkes, and spread the word about our wonderful outdoor assets. Countywide, there are music, art, and food events every weekend, almost year-round, and word of mouth is by far the best way to tell our story.
You know, I moved here 2 years ago, and I gotta say, I was just surprised and very encouraged and pleased with the amount of cultural opportunities there are here. And so thanks to Crystal for putting most of those together. All right, Crystal, what's the most memorable moment from your career?
I'd say my most memorable moment so far was floating down the Yadkin River in a cow tub with WXII meteorologist Laney Pope, while local musician R.G. Absher played the fiddle.
Hey, listen, if you're a young person out there who's considering career options, just know that if you go into local government, you might get to float down the Yadkin River listening to fiddle music. All right, on the flip side, Crystal, what's been the most challenging time of your career?
Certainly, it's been COVID-19. It impacted our small businesses greatly. Our events got canceled and our parks and offices closed. But I will say that while it's been a challenge and continues to be a challenge, I believe it's also made us stronger collectively, as I think people really appreciate living in a small town, maybe more than they did 18 months ago. They appreciate the assets in our locally owned businesses more today because of it.
All right, tell us a little bit about what's coming up over the next few months.
Sure, we have several annual festivals coming up. To start with Wilkes Agricultural Fair, which is starting August 31st at the Rotary Fairgrounds in West Park. A couple of weeks later, it's Merle Fest headed our way, September 16th through the 19th, and that's held at Wilkes Community College. It's one of the largest music festivals in the country and will attract thousands of people to Wilkes. The Wilkes County Farmers Market is hosting its annual Pumpkin Patch and Fall Market on September 25th at the Yadkin Valley Marketplace. And just around the corner from that, one of the area's largest craft events, the Brushy Mountain Apple Festival, will be held Saturday, October 2nd in downtown North Wilkesboro. We'll be wrapping up our 2021 Window World Concert Series 2 on September 25th. Nashville country artist Alex Hall performs at the Yadkin Valley Marketplace, and on October 16th, we'll close out the season on a big note with American reggae group The Elevators, along with the Hourglass Kids and the Grassabilities. All those shows are free, thanks to the town and to Window World. Be sure to bring a chair and a blanket and your mask to be safe and prepare for a great time.
All right, Crystal, if you wouldn't mind taking off your tourism and marketing hat and putting on your downtown partnership hat. Tell us a little bit about that group and what you do for them.
Sure, I'm the director for the Downtown North Wilkesboro Partnership, which is a 501c3 national Main Street organization. This organization is dedicated to promoting the historic preservation, protection, culture, and use of North Wilkesboro's traditional downtown district. And as director, I lead a board of volunteers that aim to support small businesses through various events, regional marketing, and some great grant programs.
All right, listeners, I have a confession to make. I gave Crystal these questions beforehand so that she could come up with some answers filled with information that we wanted to share. But now I'm going to try to catch her off the cuff and ask her a couple personal questions. Crystal, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you've got 3 youngsters in your household, a new college student. Tell us a little bit about them.
Yep, that's right. I live here in North Wilkesboro, just 0.9 miles away in Finley Park. I live with my mother-in-law, 3 kids and husband. My oldest child actually started college 2 weeks ago at UNC Chapel Hill, and she pledged and rushed, or whatever they call it, sororities, and got into her favorite one. In fact, she suicide rushed, so she only did one and got in. It's AD Pi, so that's exciting for her, and she was thrilled. My son Gus attends Wilkes Central High School. He's a sophomore, and he'll be getting his driver's license in a couple of months, so that's one less person to drive around. So excited about that. Gus plays basketball and baseball at high school and loves science and math, as does his sister Charlie, who just started middle school. So she's a 6th grader at Central Wilkes. And Charlie also enjoys athletics. She's on a gymnastics team, and it keeps her busy and active, and so I'm thankful for that. My husband works at a local lumber yard. And again, I forgot to tell you, I have 2 dogs as well, Mabel and Cookie, and so we have lots of fun at the Keener house.
I can say that Crystal is a great colleague, and her children are all charming, so you can believe it when she says that she's got 3 good kids. All right, anything else you want to share, Crystal?
Yes, I definitely want people to visit the town website, north-wilkesboro.com. You can get a lot of great information there, whether you're a resident, a visitor, or a business owner. You can sign up to receive notifications about water outages, about inclement weather, and changes in town trash pickup schedules. So it's really important to check that website out. It's got a lot of great information.
That website will also contain agendas for Board of Commissioners meetings. So if you want to follow the work of your elected officials, you can get all the same information that they have on the town website. All right, Crystal, appreciate you being here. Great information. Listeners, in the weeks to come, we're going to produce more episodes of the Keynote Podcast, highlighting stories from the town of North Wilkesboro. We'll talk to more town staff and other community leaders, asking them to share their stories and their visions for North Wilkesboro. After November, we'll interview the mayor, whoever that may be, and our elected officials. We would do that sooner, but since we're in an election year, we don't want to give one candidate a platform over the other. So we're going to wait till after November to do that. And at some point, we'll turn to you to help us create content for this podcast. We'll ask you to submit topics you'd like to hear us discuss. So be on the lookout on the town's various web pages that Crystal just mentioned for an opportunity to contribute. And finally, I'm trying to put together a thing called Coffee with the Town Manager, where I'll open my door, virtually at first, to meet directly with residents and discuss their concerns one-on-one. So again, be on the lookout for that. So until next time, this is Town Manager Wilson Hooper, wishing you all the best. So long.